Okay, so we're getting into this whole Gavel rebuild that we're talking about right now. That build was actually a collaborative build between us and Genright for a brand new ambassador, Kevron. Really solid dude. He's been around wheeling forever, and he had at one point like a souped up samurai that could do anything. So he bought this two-door JK and he built this thing with a purpose of being able to go out and do whatever he wanted in a two-door. So working with Genright, we actually developed their Elite kit with this. So like the kit you see on Terremoto, this actually has their two-door version of that. You know, then we took this thing and we handed this thing over to Mark, who's another ambassador. He actually purchased it. He jumped in this Jeep, took it out his first time. He rolled it.
You okay?
Now we're here. Now we have this thing and it's kind of sitting here and we're tearing it apart.
Yeah, come on. Let's get that wheel off now, boys.
And what we're actually doing on the teardown of this thing is we're tearing this thing down to the bare minimum. Pulled all the brakes off of it. We pulled the coilovers off of it. We've pulled the interior completely out of it. Cage has all been cut away. It's all gone. So we're kind of going through that right now and we're figuring out what's not working, what needs to be fixed, and kind of just doing a refresh on this entire build. Okay, now so touching base on this cage. It's a pretty intricate feature of what we're adding, you know what I mean? Like the thing about a cage is a good cage can save your life. Not a lot of other parts on the vehicle can say that, but the cage is literally something that is there to protect you when you build these machines. So what we did is we took a Genright two-door cage. The cool thing about a Genright cage is you can actually kind of customize them to what you want because they're very modular with the way they're laser cut. So what we did, knowing that Mark is 6'4", we actually moved our X-bars back from where they originally were. We had to rebend some of our tubes that what we need. And so we put new sliders in there, that kind of stuff for the seats. Now he can actually come back about 5 inches over what a regular seat position is. Mark wanted something a little bit custom on this, and obviously what we do here at the garage, we always try to throw, you know, little pieces of customizing in there. We added a fastback feature to this cage. So using all the same 2-inch DOM and everything that Genright uses, we rebent some of the tubes from the B pillar back and just kind of built our own customized thing back there that actually still takes a Genright basket. We'll still be able to slide a full-size Dometic under there. Our power tank stuff will mount under there. And just kind of clean up the Jeep in the back end, which makes it a little bit more cargo accessible, which you need in a two-door because you don't have a lot of space. So I'm pretty excited to actually see this whole thing come together because there's no other cage like this with what we've done with it. So everything's done, this thing is stripped, things are out at powder coat, parts are ordered, all that kind of stuff, and we got to figure out what we're gonna do. The motor in this thing is not good. We went through it, there's some issues. It's gonna cost us, you know, $2 or $3 grand to find actual motor, swap it back in there and do that, or we do this. Jeff Bruisers has something called Bruiser Conversions, and literally you can drop a V8 inside your Jeep. We're gonna get him on the phone and see just how easy this is. I think if we have one chance of switching out the motor and not wasting money and putting a stock motor back in this thing, Bruisers is probably gonna be our option. So let's get Jeff on the phone here, and we'll see if this actually is an option.
Bruiser Conversions.
Jeff, Nick Ashby over Rockstar.
What's up, brother?
So we have a two-door JK that's kind of had some damage to it, so we're doing a whole swap on it.
Nice.
We're going to be pulling the motor out of it that's in it, and instead of just replacing it, you know, with that 3.6 back in there, we're on your site right now digging through this thing. And how easy is this?
In a worst case scenario, shouldn't take you more than 5 days, start to finish.
I have to go out and find a motor, right? What size motor would you recommend in this thing? Being a two-door, you know, it's going to be on 40s, 1 tons.
I would suggest a 5.3.
A 5.3?
If it's a two-door platform, the 5.3 all aluminum base is a really good combination, and you can keep the cost down. It should be anywhere from $2,000 to $3,000, depending on who you get it from and how many miles are on it. And that's a complete engine.
What am I going to be able to use in this kit, and what am I going to have to toss or get new?
Everything comes with a kit 100%. The motor mounts, they're a direct fit to the factory frame, so you don't have to cut the mounts off of the frame.
How do I put a V8 in the same location a V6 was sitting using the same mounts? They're not the same motor even close.
You're not using the same mounts. You're just using the hangers on the frame. We've built some motor mounts that bolt to the side of the LS to position the engine exactly in the position that we wanted in, falling into the factory frame mounts on the frame.
Now, what about the transmission? I obviously can't use the same transmission or the same transfer case, right?
Absolutely.
I can?
So, 2012 and up utilizes the WA580, which is a Mercedes-Benz 7226 platform. It'll handle 550 horsepower and 500 foot-pounds of torque right out of the box with no modifications. So we've built an adapter that'll bolt the 5.3, the 6.0, or the 6.2 directly to the WA580.
This is an automatic transmission, so shifting, TCM, ECU, like all those things, what do we do there? Because obviously it's not all the same.
So this particular platform is what we call the fully tunable platform, which means that you can do any type of tuning, cam changes, turbochargers, superchargers, whatever you want to do, as long as you have HP tuners or something of that nature, to where you can get in and tune the engine.
Okay, so I'm probably just going to give you like my gear ratio, my tire size, all that kind of stuff. And when you program all this stuff for the first time, you're going to input all that data.
The kit comes with a product called a taser or a blaster, depending on the application, which enables you to plug right into your OBD2 port and plug into your computer and do all the programming yourself. So we actually pre-program the system when we send it out to you, so you don't have to use your taser, but we send a taser with the system. So if you change anything like tire size or gear ratio or engine modifications, you can utilize that particular device.
I'm reusing everything else except the motor.
Pretty much. I mean, we send you a battery tray that relocates your battery in your total integrated power management module. We do send a complete exhaust system with the vehicle, and then you supply Camaro Gen 4 exhaust manifolds. So you get stainless Y-pipe with cats, with O2 bungs. That also comes with the kit. So it's basically a complete kit. You don't have to supply anything but the engine itself.
Damn. All right, well, let me get you some information over and let's see if we can get this thing done. I mean, I'm stoked. I've always wanted to try one of your systems out in one of our builds. I'm pretty excited to try it.
Well, if you try it, we will not let you down, Mr. Nick.
I'll get you some information over and we'll see if we can get this whole thing going.
We look forward to the relationship, my friend.
Awesome, bud. Talk soon. Well, there you have it. You know what I mean? I don't know, dude. People talk a big game, and, you know, I've done a lot of forced induction, a lot of motor swaps, and I can tell you right now, it is never as easy as people say it's going to be. But, you know what I mean? I do know Jeff, and Jeff's kind of like a no bullshit guy. So let's see if this thing is really as easy as it's going to be. Experience it yourself. We're going to be putting a 5.3 aluminum block V8 in this. Bruiser says that they have something that we can put in that is so simple and easy that anyone can do it. You can do it in your own garage at your house. We'll see.
So I'm guessing when I put this on, I use this hole, right?
Okay.
It'd seem like.
Yeah, the 2-inch hole.
Wonder where they have the other one. But yeah, should be all right.
We're being told the stock transmission works great, you know, with the Rubicon case. So, you know, we'll see what happens. Again, I'm a little skeptical because I don't think that anything that invasive is that easy. The way the engine made it up to the transmission was so simplistic clean with their adapter and everything. It was just stupid easy. I'm looking at this and I'm like, there's no way that this is gonna fire up with as much electronics. We're taking the Jeep ECU and getting rid of it, and we're putting a Chevy ECU in this thing, and it's gonna run. There's no way.
Tell me when.
Okay.
Everything was great. It was insane. All of us just look at each other and we're like, there's no way this thing is running right now. And it was, you know, it was that simple. It was crazy how simplistic, easy everything was and what Bruiser's done with this. If you haven't checked it out, you do have a JK and you're looking at that, you know, upgrade for power, check out Bruiser Conversions, top-notch stuff. I went over to Brett King's office and I begged and pleaded for about an hour, and we got 3.0 internal bypass. Not only that, but we actually got him to Cerakote black and anodized gold these shocks for us, because how can you build a Phoenix JK without it being gold and black? I mean, like old school Trans Am looking. This thing is just fire. We just dropped the cage in. We decided to go gold on the cage to match the shocks. 6 minutes and 30 seconds to take a cage and install it in a Jeep that's already been welded, powder coated, everything, with an entire tub that's been bullet lined. Bullet liner is like 1/8 of an inch thick, so that's making adjustments everywhere. So as soon as we do all that stuff, we drop this cage in, and it literally not a ratchet strap, like barely even had to pry this thing over to get all the bolts to line up. To think that Genright has taken 70 pieces to a cage, laser cut them, built you a jigsaw puzzle, you weld it together, and it goes in that easy. Like OEM parts don't fit that easy half the time. So this thing is done. It is awesome. We're bolting up the last pieces right now. We're gonna have Mark fly in actually. He's never seen it, it's his Jeep. Since he rolled this thing, he hasn't seen it for almost a year now. It sat at another shop for a long time and they just didn't know what to do with it. And then we ended up getting it back here so that we could just kind of go through it and build another, so to say, one-off build. So We're gonna be hitting a trail in Northern California. We're pretty stoked about that, never willed it before. And he has to take this Jeep and keep up with gridlock and mischief. So this is gonna be a pretty rad trip, and he's definitely gonna be rolling with some people that are not afraid to send it.
You ready?
Yes.
You wanna go in?
Yeah.
You sure?
Sure. Let's do it.
All right. There she is.
Oh my